I came to Punjab first time back in 2005, and I was drawn to the Punjabi Bhangra, to the Punjabi culture, the food, the people, the hospitality.
I do want to talk about Simran, but just so we can give our viewers a little background, you started this journey about 10 years ago?
So the Sikh devotional music, yes, but with Indian music and culture, that is 17 years ago now. Make a literal translation of each word, and I'll write down the phonetic language on top of it, and I'll write down how the music goes, like in sheet music on top of it as well. So it's a whole long process, and to begin with, it was just training my ear for the Ura, Era, Idi, Sasa, Haha, all these different, delicate, different sounds than any other language. I was in the studio singing a couple of songs I learned in Himachali language, and then somebody heard me and said, oh, this Gauri has learned to sing in Himachali in 5 days. Maybe she can learn to sing in Punjabi. I've got 3 Indian families. They were like, I was going to get married with my high school sweetheart from Denmark. And they said, you have to have an Indian wedding as well. So they organized a wedding in Hoshiarpur. And we had like 4-day celebration and ended up going to the Golden Temple in the end as well. And I remember Hoshiarpur Milla. I've seen him live quite a few times and shared the stage with him. It's the way he commands the audience. He's just breathing the rich Punjabi culture. I think he's just one with it.
Hello and welcome to Khas Mulakat. I'm your host Sonia West. Today in the studio we have Anita Lerche. She is from Denmark, but she sings in Punjabi. So we are going to welcome her to the studio. So please give a warm welcome to Anita. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you so much. Namaste, Sat Shri Akal, Assalamu Alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
Very good.
Good. So it's very nice to see how you're dressed. You look beautiful. And the fact that you just greeted me in all those languages. I know that you've sang before in 16 different languages. So you're very well versed in song in many cultures. And it's very nice to see that you've got this new single, Simran, which connects a lot with our South Asian community because of the Punjabi and Sikh community. So tell us a bit about that.
Yes, I came to Punjab first time back in 2005. And I was drawn to the Punjabi Bhangra, to the Punjabi culture, the food, the people, the hospitality. And I released my first album, Heer, from Denmark at that time. And later, Sadhika Punjab Ton. And I sort of always listened to the Sikh sacred music, and I always loved it. So it was a dream of mine. 10 years ago, I sang my first Shabad, and then finally now I'm releasing my first Simran, and it's very heart-opening, and it's really a beautiful way to connect with the divine, and it's really for all faiths, all cultures, because it's just very positive and heart-opening music.
So I do want to talk about Simran, but just so we can give our viewers a little background, you started this journey about 10 years ago?
So the Sikh devotional music, yes, but with Indian music and culture, that is 17 years ago now. So it's been a long journey, and
What inspired
I've lived in
you?
Punjab for about 10 years, and I just love the music and the culture.
So it was your first visit to India, and then you fell in love with the culture?
Yes, absolutely. I was trekking in Himachal Pradesh in Kulu Manali, and I was invited to Punjab and heard this Punjabi music and just fell in love with it.
Right. Okay. And then why did it resonate so strongly with you?
It was the rhythms. It was I just felt home in Punjab, but initially it was the rhythms and the music. and that talked to my heart, that spoke to my heart, and I just fell in love with it. And I was going there for trekking, and I ended up with a record contract. So I decided to stay back in Punjab.
Right. So when you were there, so how did you connect actually with the people? Like you were singing, or how did they recognize that you had this ability?
So I was in the studio singing a couple of songs I learned in Himachali language, and then somebody heard me and said, "Oh, this Gauri has learned to sing in Himachali in 5 days. Maybe she can learn to sing in Punjabi." So I was offered a record contract. So I decided to stay back, and luckily I ended up having a great team. Anurag Sood became my language Punjabi teacher, and Ratan Singh Rajput, who is no more now. But they taught me everything I know. I lived in Hoshiarpur and I lived in Jalandhar, and it was, I just felt very much home, but it was with the guidance of the local Punjabis that I learned to sing in Punjabi.
Right.
And that was also how I got into singing Hindu devotional music and now Sikh devotional music.
Right. Well, I've listened to some of your songs. You know, when I was researching for this interview, I was impressed with the way you pronounce the words when you're singing. I could actually understand because I'm fluent in the language. So when I was listening to you sing, I was able to understand it, which I did not expect that. So I was really impressed with that. So how do you prepare when you're going to sing in a different language, especially, you know, in the Punjabi language? How do you prepare for this?
I've made up my own phonetic language, so I'll write down all the words in Roman letters. I'll make a literal translation of each word, and I'll write down the phonetic language on top of it, and I'll write down how the music goes, like in sheet music on top of it as well. So it's a whole long process, and to begin with, it was just training my ear for the ura, era, idi, sasa, haha, all these different, delicate, different sounds than any other language.
Right. So your fan base, who is your fan base? What kind of support do you have from people that listen to your music?
Well, I guess it's a lot of Punjabis from India, from Pakistan, but I've also been performing all over the world for people of many different cultures, and music has got no boundaries. So I do also have a following of people who are not Punjabis, but they just love the vibe of the music and the happiness that I think it's the happiness. I think it's the rhythms. I mean, everybody loves Bhangra music, I guess,
Right.
and the devotional is just it's just an inward. It just goes, instead of the explosive happiness outwards, it's really going into your heart and opening your heart and creating that peace and happiness within.
Right. So when you talk about a vibe in Bhangra music, there's that that explosion of happiness, and you just got to get up and dance. And then there's a vibe to more of the religious songs that you do. So when you talk about Simran, your new single, which I'm very excited to share, we'll share it with our viewers. Tell me about that. What does that vibe feel like?
So when I was in the studio, I just felt totally at peace, and I felt it was heart-opening singing the Simran, and the words, the mantra, this chanting of the sacred Sikh sacred words are very, very heart-opening, and it's very powerful. But the music, Mohit Kunwar, he created the music, and we've got Sadvinder Pal Singh on Sarangi.
Okay.
And it's very meditational, very soothing music. And then I am singing these beautiful, soulful lines within the chant of the Simran. So it becomes very meditational, and yeah, I felt very much at peace when recording it, and that's how I feel that it's very powerful.
Right. So the people that are listening to Simran, it doesn't have to be just people from the Sikh faith.
Absolutely not. I have had an amazing response from people of all faiths, and they're like, I didn't even know Sikh sacred music, and they start learning, being enriched by the culture, by the faith, and that's a beautiful thing. So, but the music really, it's got no barriers. It speaks to the heart, and it unites people across borders, cultures, languages, even just because it speaks directly to the heart. So it's got no boundaries.
Right. Music is the language for everyone. You're absolutely correct about that. So I think especially in the world now with everything that's going on, it's really nice to have something like this Simran for people to just play and just relax and just take a moment for themselves. It's self-care.
Absolutely. And we created it with the filmmaker Harjit Singh, and he has done all the footage in Punjab. You have the Golden Temple, you have other gurdwaras, and the nature is there. And we created during the pandemic. So I could not go to Punjab to be there during the recordings. So all my part has been recorded in the States in US, where I live in Indianapolis.
Right.
So I had to go to the TV studio with a green screen, worked with the Nate Heck there who recorded my visuals, and even my voice. I had to go to a local studio to record my vocal performance in the single.
Right.
So, but still, it was great feeling it all coming together, and I can really recommend watching the video because it goes very, very hand in hand with the music.
Right. Especially if you have the footage from, from India, I think that people should definitely watch it. And for those of our viewers that are watching now and seeing you and thinking, well, she is a white lady, wearing Indian clothes and singing Indian music, they might be a little skeptical, but I can reassure them that you are very connected to the culture and you even had a wedding in India.
Absolutely. I mean, I've lived in Punjab for about 10 years, like 5-6 months every year. And my Indian families, I've got 3 Indian families. They were like, I was going to get married with my high school sweetheart from Denmark. And they said, you have to have an Indian wedding as well. So they organized a wedding in Hoshiarpur. And we had like 4-day celebration and ended up going to the Golden Temple in the end as well. And
Amazing.
500 people at the reception, 2 elephants. It was just out of this world, and a princess dream coming true doing that. It was in 14.
That's amazing. So you're very connected to the culture, and in fact, with the wedding especially, I mean, that's amazing. 500 people, so just a small event.
They were talking about a couple of thousand. We're like, no, this is too much.
That's right. So people that are watching now, I mean, it's nice that we're having this conversation, but I think that they would love to hear just a little clip of maybe just if you would impromptu sing for us. I don't know how comfortable you are with that, but maybe just a little melody.
Yeah, maybe should I sing a few lines from the Simran?
Sure, that would be awesome. Yeah, we'd love that.
Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh. Satnam Shri Waheguru, Satnam Shri Waheguru, Waheguru, Satnam Waheguru, Waheguru, Satnam Waheguru, 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 Satnam Waheguru, Waheguru, Satnam Waheguru, 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 Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. I was listening to you singing it, and I could see you transformed, kind of just very peaceful. Your face changed, actually. I don't know if you feel this, but I could see that calmness about you. And listening to it, I would love to hear that every morning. So it was beautiful, to start your day. Yeah, it's a good job.
Thank you so much. I mean, it immediately, connects me with my heart. And my mission has always been to sing from my heart to other people's heart. But this Simran, it really goes deep. It really
Yes.
goes deep. So I'm glad you could feel it. And absolutely. I mean, I usually don't listen to my songs, and I mean, it distracts me a little bit. But with this Simran, honestly, I can play it over and over again, and it is as it means meditation, and that is how it feels even for me as a singer,
Right.
listening to my own voice, which is not what I usually do, but it's very peaceful for me listening to this recording.
Right. Well, a lot of Punjabi people play Simran in their house. So your version is a little bit more modern and it's very soothing. So I think that, I will probably play it in the mornings when I get, to start my day. It kind of just sets the tone for the day. So that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much. Shukriya.
So what does the future hold for you? We've heard the Bhangra music, we've heard the Simran. What's next for you?
So in a month's time, I'm going to release my first shabad. It's called Millimeter Pridmajo, and it was the first shabad that I recited about 10 years ago in public. And it's also with the same team, Mohit Kunwar as music producer, Satinder Pal Singh on Sarangi, and Harjeet Singh has created a fantastic music video for it. And after that, let's see how the response is, but I'm definitely wanting to make some collaborations with some Punjabi artists.
So you say that you want to collaborate with some Punjabi artists. Do you have any favorites?
So, I mean, now I'm getting more and more into the devotional, and I mean, over the years, I've listened to a lot of different singers, but these recent years, Satinder Sartaaj, I'm very fond of his soulful way of singing, and I actually saw him live just a few days back in Indianapolis, and his band, he was with 8 musicians, and I mean, I met him in person for the first time. I do love his music, and I think a duet with him or some sort of collaboration that could be very, very inspiring and something interesting that I would love to do. Malkit Singh, if I was going to do an up-tempo, Punjabi Bhangra, something more, I love the traditional Punjabi Bhangra as well. So I think Malkit Singh, it could be a beautiful collaboration and duet as well.
Right. Yeah, I can see
Gurdas
both.
Man, I always loved Gurdas Man and his music. That was my initial Ranja, my musical Ranja when I came to Punjab.
Your musical Ranja. That's funny. What do you like so much about Gurdas Man?
It's when he performs, he's just one with the music. I've been with him on stage at the same. I remember Hushairpur Mein live. I've seen him live quite a few times and shared the stage with him. It's the way he commands the audience. He's just breathing the rich Punjabi culture. I think he's just one with it. So
well, he's definitely Punjabi gold. Inspiring. Him and Malkit Singh for sure. I can see you doing something.
Oh yes, I've seen him. Well. I've also absolutely they're amazing art. I mean, there's so many great artists, but this is just a few of them that I would love to perform with and make a duet with.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see it. I mean, the future is very bright for you. We've only been speaking for a few minutes now, but I feel inspired to listen to your Simran every morning. I mean, it feels like it would ground someone. So it's really nice. So thank you for sharing that. So our viewers that are watching, maybe there's someone that's watching and thinking, that's a really great idea to get out of your comfort zone and sing from a different culture. Or maybe someone's watching and, they want to know maybe some advice you can give them, because I know that you are a person that has you've done yoga, meditation, those types of things. So if you can share something with our viewers right now, maybe some wisdom, maybe some inspiration, you can go ahead and speak to our viewers now.
Yes. To all the viewers of Sanjha TV, I want to send you all my love and greetings and blessings. And I want you to just follow your heart in life, and there are no limits. If you just work hard, everything is possible, and that is a fact. So never let anybody tell you that something is not possible, because it is. Nobody believed in me from the beginning, but it all came together, because when you're passionate about something and you put in the work, then wonders can happen. So always get the best teachers and follow your dreams, follow your heart in life.
That's wonderful advice, and I can just see the joy. When you speak, there's just joy on your face. It's just, you can feel it. So, I mean, our viewers are probably feeling inspired right now. So
Can I
look
say
forward.
one thing more?
Yes, please.
It was this morning I came to think of when Sanjha TV was launched. I was actually at the launch, I think it was during Vaisakhi, and there was a Sikh parade, and I was actually singing a Simran at that day, and it went absolutely viral, and it sort of inspired me as well to, I have to make a very good recording of the Simran, because people just loved it. And so I just want to thank Sanjha TV for your support of me all these years. And thank you so much. It just really means a lot to me.
Right. So we've come full circle. We started with Sanjha TV in the Vaisakhi, and it's Vaisakhi now as well here again. And here we have you on the show. So it's perfect. Very poetic. So thank you for talking to us today in the studio, Anita. And we look forward to what the future holds for you. So from us at Sanjha TV to you, Sat Sri Akal.
Sat Sri Akal.
That was our show for today. Khas Mulakat. I'm your host, Sonia West. Keep watching Sanjha TV.